friends, we're back again for the third lesson, lesson 17. So let's just jump right in. So G, the seventh commandment, you shall not steal. From Exodus, which it states that, I'm just getting situated, in Exodus 20:15 and Deuteronomy 5:19. The theme would be respect for the rights and possessions of others. So this commandment encourages us to live a life of contentment with such things as we have. That doesn't quite make sense. And to maintain a commitment not to take something that belongs to another. So it's basically talking about just being content with what God's given us and committing to not taking something that belongs to someone else. God established laws of restitution for those who had confessed or had been found out in relation to this violation. The only exception to this was if you stole or kidnapped a person. In this case, you would be put to death. Often we steal in very subtle ways. It is more obvious when we actually take something out of a store or someone's home. But here are some things worth thinking about. 1. Stealing is taking something that belongs to your parents without their permission. 2. Stealing is taking a woman's virginity. 3. Stealing is accepting wages for time that you did not work. Idleness. 4. Stealing is charging a customer for more than you actually did. Padding a bill. 5. Stealing is eating produce from a grocery store without paying it at the till. 6. Stealing is borrowing something and either not returning it or returning it in a damaged state. 7. Stealing is taking a loan from a friend or relative and not paying it back. 8. Stealing is not giving your tithe to the house of God. And I think we all have heard that verse in Malachi, but just talking about how it actually belongs to God in the first place. So if we're not, the 10% does. So if we're not giving back what belongs to God, then essentially we're stealing from God. 9. Stealing is cheating on your taxes by not giving the government their due. 10. Stealing is smuggling things across the border to avoid custom charges. 11. Stealing is taking things from your workplace that belong to your employer. 12. Stealing is refusing to repay a legitimate debt. 13. Stealing is buying or acquiring pirated materials, movies, CDs, etc. And 14. Stealing is taking towels from the hotel when you leave. Ephesians 4:28 teaches us that the cure for stealing is honest labor and generosity to others. Ephesians 4:28 says, "Let him who stole steal no longer, but rather let him labor, working with his hands what is good, that he may have something to give him who has need." H, the eighth commandment, you shall not bear false witness. Exodus 20:16 says you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Or the NIV says you shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. The theme of this is respect for truth, justice, and the reputation of others. The primary intent of this commandment dealt specifically with a person's actual witness or testimony that is given in a legal sense. That was your blank. Jesus had false witnesses that were paid to testify against him. However, this commandment also extends to all that we say or speak in relation to other people. We should not have to put our hands on a Bible and swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Nor should we have to begin every sentence with honestly or truthfully. The ninth commandment emphasizes the value of our neighbor's good name and our personal commitment to honesty and integrity in all our relationships with others. It forbids lying to or about others, giving false testimony or accusations, slander, gossip, or any other form of conversation or action that would seek to deface or destroy the reputation of another. According to the law, a false witness could be in serious trouble themselves if they were to be discovered lying. So I'm going to read to you Deuteronomy 19:15 through 20. Never convict anyone of a crime on the testimony of just one witness. The facts of the case must be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. If a malicious witness comes forward and accuses someone of a crime, then both the accuser and the accused must appear before the priests and judges who are on duty before the Lord. They must be closely questioned, and if the accuser is found to be lying, the accuser will receive the punishment intended for the accused. In this way, you will cleanse such evil from among you. Those who hear about it will be afraid to do such an evil thing again. You must never show pity. Your rule should be life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, and foot for foot. And that was Deuteronomy 19, 15 through 20. So in the New Testament, there are many sins of the tongue that the believer is to guard against. All of these could be seen as a violation of this commandment. So that in the New Testament, how it talks about, we're about to go through what these are, they're saying that all of those are connected to this commandment that we're talking about, not bearing false witness. So these are the ones that are listed out in the New Testament. Number 1, tale-bearing, or telling others those things that were told to him in trust and confidence. Tale-bearing, that's what that said, sorry. Number 2, backbiting, or speaking evil of a person in their absence. Number 3, gossip, or speaking idly with evil intent of the affairs of others. Number 4, whispering, or speaking secretly of others to one individual at a time in a plotting manner. 5, bitterness, or speaking to others about someone else in a manner which denotes inward feelings of anger, hurt, indignation, or repulsion. 6, slander, or speaking falsehoods or misrepresentations which have the effect of damaging another person's reputation. So now it's back. Oh, it's on I. So the 9th commandment, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife. Deuteronomy 5:21 says, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife, and you shall not desire your neighbor's house, his field, his male servant, his female servant, his ox, his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's. The theme of this is contentment in marriage. So it's very interesting that the last 2 commandments deal with something internal rather than external. So covetousness, sorry, I have trouble saying that word, deals with the root of sin, while most of the commandments deal only with the fruit of sin. Covetousness was the root of the first sin in the Bible, the first sin recorded in the conquest of the Promised Land, and the first sin record in the early church. So this is the sin that led to the betrayal of Jesus by Judas. J, the 10th commandment. You shall not covet your neighbor's possessions. You shall not covet your neighbor. Exodus 20:17. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male servant, nor his female servant. We just read this. Nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that is your neighbor's. So the theme here is contentment in possessions. So I personally know that I've gone through seasons where I feel like I maybe was struggling with contentment, or maybe feeling like I was coveting things or wanting something that didn't belong to me. So sometimes I've just taken a step back from Instagram, or taken a break just to realign my heart and to get things right. Because I know for me personally, I've wanted to always be happy for others when they're getting married, they're having the baby, all those things. I wanted to be able to celebrate that. And if that was something that was kind of funky in my heart that I needed to work out with the Lord, I've felt led in the past to just take a break from that, just to get off Instagram, to get off social media, to disconnect, just to make sure that my heart is in the right place when I'm seeing those posts, and that I can truly be happy for them, and not have those inner feelings of jealousy or coveting what they have. That was just a side note. Okay, so it says the key to victory in this area is cultivating a heart of contentment based on a trust in the Lord that He has given me everything I need for my present happiness. My throat's dry. Do you like this SDCLC mug? Tony designed it. Actually, I have 2 more of them. So the first person that watches this video and comes to this point and would like one, feel free to say, I want a mug. Uh-oh, running low on battery. And I will put it to the side to you and give it to you when I'm able to see you. Okay, back to where we were talking about the key to victory. So if we want victory in this area and not coveting things, is to cultivate a heart of contentment. So we want to trust that God has given me everything that I need to be happy right now. So